Welcome to Algebra 2 Fall Semester Test Review. This video will cover page 1, number 1 through 8. Let's start with our first problem. It says, determine if the sequence is arithmetic. If it is, find the term name in the problem and the explicit formula. Here's the general explicit formula. X of n is equal to x of 1 plus d is your difference, parentheses, n minus 1. This is something that you should memorize, okay? Your first term is listed right here. Your d is the difference between the two. So to find out your difference, take your second term, which is negative 77, minus 23. And the difference in that is negative 100. Try it with the other one. Negative 177 minus negative 77. Notice how it is all negative 100. So that is your D. Knowing that, you can now write your explicit formula, and it will look like this. So your formula will look like x of n, that means for any general terms, equals your first term, which is 23, your difference, minus 100, parentheses, n minus 1. That just tells you that I can use anything where it starts at 23 and I'm going to go down 100, and n is any term. To find a 30th term, that means your n is 30. That's your n. So you're going to plug in 30 equals 23 minus 100, 30 minus 1. You can type that to your calculator, and you'll have 23 minus 100, parentheses, 30 minus 1. So the 30th term will be negative 2877. Negative 2877. So that's your 30th term, okay? And this right here is your formula. That's going to work for every one of them. You can find your 50th term, 1,000 term. That's what your n is going to be. Number 2. Same scenario. If you want to try to find your explicit formula, let's see if the difference is arithmetic first. So before you even start, you need to go 45 minus 36. The difference there is a positive 9. Okay? Do it again. 54 minus 45, positive 9. So is that one. Notice how they're all the same. The difference is a positive 9. Knowing that, you can now write your formula. X of n equal, first term is 36, plus your d, n minus 1. There is your explicit formula. Now, if this is not the same pattern, you cannot write an explicit formula for an arithmetic sequence. For your 34th term, so you're going to have x of 34 equal, first term's 36 plus 9. The term you want to find is 34 minus 1. And that term comes out to be, and you can type that into your calculator, 34 minus 1, and I get 3, 3, 3. Okay. Number 3. It says find the recursive formula in the next 3 terms in the sequence. The recursive formula is x of n equals x minus the first term plus your d. That is the formula for the recursive. So let's take a look at our question. Let's see our difference, okay? So 15 minus negative 15 comes out to be 30, positive 30. See if that's the same. 45 minus 15. That's also 30. 75 minus previous term of 45. So this is an arithmetic sequence. So your D is 30. So now you can write your formula. X of n equal x. Notice the n is lower, plus 30. And there's your formula. Okay? By the way, let me go back to number 1 and 2 real quick. Sometimes they will rework this problem, and when they do, where they rewrite it, it will look something like this. So let me take a moment to just kind of let you know how this is exactly the same thing, okay? So x of n, they will simplify it, equals negative 100n plus 100. See that right there? Combine your like term. So 23 plus 100, so this comes out to be negative 100n plus 123. Sometimes you will see the answers like this, where you have simplified it. That is exactly the same thing. So I just want you to be aware of that. Same thing for number 2, okay? They will simplify where they distribute the 9, add the 36, minus the 9, and you will get the same thing. So just be aware. You can write it differently by simplifying. But for the recursive, you're not going to be able to do that. All right. Number 4. Oh, I forgot to do the next. You're supposed to find the next 3 terms. So let's go find the next 3 terms. So that is 75 plus 30, 105 plus 30, 135 plus 30, and 165. There's the next 3 terms. 105, 135, and 165. Okay? Number 4, given the explicit, go ahead and find the recursive. So your recursive will look like this. X of n is equal to x, previous term, n minus 1. This is your d, plus 100. And there is your recursive formula. To find the next 3 terms, let me see, given the explicit, find the recursive formula. It didn't ask me to find the next 3 terms, so I don't have to. But if you did, you start off at 7, okay? So 7 plus 100 is 107, plus another 100, 207, plus another 100, 307, if you had to. You did not have to for number 4. On number 5, it says, given the recursive formula for the arithmetic sequence, find the explicit formula. This here is your D. Right here is your first term, okay? So to rewrite the explicit formula, it will look like this. X of n is equal to your first term, 15, plus your D, n minus 1. So there's your formula. Now, this is one way you can present it. You can also present it this way as well, by simplifying it. So you would have x of n, 15 plus 8n minus 8. Combine your like terms. So you have 8n plus 7. These two are exactly the same. Just be aware of that, okay? Number 6. Find the inverse of each function. Well, here is the inverse of each function. I'm going to rewrite my g of x as a y. So 2 plus 1 over 5x, okay? Step number 1. Switch your x and your y. Y becomes x. 2 plus 1/5 y. Step 2. Solve for y. So x minus 2 equals 1/5 y. Opposite of dividing by 5, you're going to multiply by 5. See the 5 cancel? So now you have 5x minus 10 equals y. Add a negative 1, and there is your inverse. So, switch x and y, solve for y, and then you add a negative 1 to your y. So those are the steps. There's number 6. Number 7. Rewrite this as a y, so you have negative 3x plus 12 divided by 8. Okay. Switch your x and your y, negative 3y plus 12 divided by 8. Solve for y times 8 times 8. That cancels. So now you have 8x is equal to negative 3y plus 12. Subtract 12 from both sides, so xx minus 12 is equal to negative 3y. Divide by negative 3, so you have negative 8 over 3x. Negative 12 divided by negative 3 is plus 4, is equal to y. Add your negative 1. And there you have your inverse for number 7. number 8. Okay. First of all, I'm going to graph this function so you guys can see what it looks like, and I'm going to do it in blue. So I have y equals negative 6 over 2 minus 1 over 2x. And now I'm going to simplify. This is your original function. Negative 3 minus 1 over 2x. Okay? Y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. So now I can graph. Negative 3, my slope is negative 1 over 2. Down 1, right 2. Or you can go up, left 2. And there I have my line. Connect all your points. You only really need it 2, but when you have a lot more, the picture will look better. Oops, my apologies. Okay, so there's your f of x function right here. Now your inverse, I'm going to do it in red. To find your inverse, you're going to switch your x and your y. So I have negative 6 minus y over 2. Multiply 2. 2x equals negative 6 minus y. Add 6 to both sides. Equals negative y. Divide by negative 1. And there you have your inverse function. Okay? Plot that one. Negative 6. Slope is negative 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 to the left 1. And there I have my points. Up 2 to the negative 1. And you can just keep going. Connect your lines. Or line. And there you have your inverse function. F of x to the negative 1. Okay? Now if you will notice, because you switch your x and your y and you solve for y, it will always form a mirror along the dashes, just like that. Anytime you fold right there, it's going to flip. If your inverse goes like this, for example, just like straight down, then you know your inverse is not correct. And that's how you can check it. Good luck.